What's happening, people? Yeah, I'm trying to I'm just sitting up here just thinking about what kind of steps, the right step out. First of all, the courage is to step out and, things of that nature. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking forward to. How to step out, what directions to go in, stuff like that. So that's exactly what I'm, just been doing some thinking. You know what I'm saying? Because I always had like a poor education coming up, but I'm overcoming every day. The only thing that I basically is known for that I know, and all I know has just been reading the Bible. That's the only thing that I'm actually really familiar with, because that's what I was raised up around. I was raised up. I came from a spirit. I'm gonna say more so of a spiritual background. You know what I'm saying? And all I know is don't bother people that don't bother you. Just mind your own business. Go to the store, come home, and just that routine that I basically program myself to be. You know what I'm saying? Routine as far as like I used to be into to Christianity really heavy. When I say Christianity, I'm talking about the so-called what we call the church. I was a Seventh-day Adventist for several years before I became that. I just lived that, and not only that, but I'm just chopping up just shorten the conversation for time. I'm saying just for time. I lived with my mother. Lived in a single-parent household. Just mentally mental struggle. When I say, going through something, being in a dark place where you got to, you depended upon family members, you depended upon the people around you for certain things, being stuck, stuff like that. So I pretty much grew up like that. I didn't grow up rich. Most of us as people of color, so black people, we didn't grow up with a silver spoon in our mouth. We didn't grow up with a silver spoon in our mouth. That's what I'm trying to say. We didn't. I never owned a car. I never owned a pair of driver's license. Do I want it? Yes. I want to enjoy those things. I want to be able to. What I'm actually trying to do is I'm trying to actually condition myself is to create a new pattern and create new things. That's what I'm trying to train my, I want to train my mind is to branch out and try something different instead of the same routine every day. All the time. Still do videos. I'm still going to do these. Still do my blogs and stuff. But train myself is to have that get about to where I can get on the go and do good things and learn different things and stuff like that. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'm pretty much the only child that ever stayed home with my parents and stuff like that. The rest of the family, they got out. Brothers, sisters, they got out and got on their own, got their own little thing going and stuff. So I feel like I'm the only one that has actually stuck around the house. I'm not gonna say it was a bad thing, and I'm not gonna say all of it wasn't good neither. I'm not gonna say all of it was good because it's a lot of things that I could have done, because what makes some of the part of it that's bad, it'll handicap you to the point to where you look at life and you don't want to be like that anymore. You be like, okay, this was good in a way. It kept me from the side of dying in the streets fast and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It kept me, protected me from the wrong type of people and stuff like that. But in one sense, too much of it, I feel it damaged. It's part of a damage because it took away part of a life that I should have had. You see what I'm saying? It took away part of it, and I'm being real right now. I just feel like I lost a lot. I'm not sitting here just beating myself down and not getting myself up and trying to still move up out the situation. But all I'm saying is that I want to try something a bit different. I had to hit a damn bug. I know it like a insect, you know. I'm just trying to try something a bit different. It's good to protect yourself. You know, like if you're living with your parents, I wouldn't challenge nobody. Is to just stay, like living with your parents, it's good. Living with your people is good in one sense. It's very protective. It keep you, if you pattern your life like that into the whatever. But in one sense, it can be damaging too. You see what I'm saying? It can be damaged at the same time if you're doing too much of it. Just like if you're doing too much of the good thing, it can do damage too. But I think I would a whole lot rather took another route than this route. If I could have just grew up and just made a decision and just changed this way and knew that I was going to be this way and that my life was going to end out being like this, because mental slavery is the worst slavery ever. You see what I'm saying? So, if I tell any child, if you 9, 10 years old, if you 12, if you're a teenager listening to this video and you still under the roof of your people or your peers or whatever, the people that you got that you depended on to take care of you and whatever, continue to allow them to do that. But once you reach a certain age to where do everything you can, don't fall in the same trap as me, almost 50 some years old, and never built a legacy for yourself. Don't do what I do. I'm encouraging you to go into a different route. Don't take this route. Trust me. Do not take Christianity. Do not avoid much of that as possible. I know a lot of you ain't old enough to make your own decision. I'm not telling you to do nothing wrong. That's not what I'm advocating. I'm just saying, you know, to establish yourself to where you won't have to rely upon family members. You don't want to be like me, trying to still almost 50 years old, trying to figure out. Almost. I'm not there yet. You know, trying to figure out and just having a pattern to where I grew up to where I couldn't read or write. And I can read good now, but there's a lot of areas in my life I still need to improve. You know, even in my math and stuff like that, because it can be tougher without it. You see what I'm saying? Knowing how to read is the real key to being out here. If you know how to just do a little something, it won't be as hard. You see what I'm saying? But do everything you can is to avoid Christianity. If you can once you get old enough to make your own decision, I challenge you. Build yourself. While you got the opportunity, while the education is still there, take advantage of that shit. Take advantage of it. Extremely. That way you don't have to be, you don't want to be like me. End up you still living back at home. I'm not being criticizing of nothing. I'm not being criticizing of a mother, you know, of a single mother. I'm not doing, that's not what I'm here doing. I'm just saying, you don't want to fall into this category of living in a single parent household, because we want to be able to establish ourselves. You don't want to do with that. You don't want to take that route I'm taking. Trust me, you do not want to go down that road. That road is hell. It's just like, literally, it's just like being in a flame of fire. Literal flame of fire. It's that bad. You don't want to take that route, because if you do, it ain't gonna be looking good. It's gonna be very bad for you. In a way, don't take the route that I'm taking, because you don't want this route. You don't want to do that, to where you got to rely upon them, to where they dependent upon you. You got to be at home a certain time and all that kind of stuff. Because look, no matter how old you get, if a person is still living with their parents, your ass still got a curfew, in a way, because they gon', you know what I'm saying? Because you know how, I mean, it's normal, it's natural for family members is to call people up and like, hey, boy, I ain't know where you were. You stayed out, this and that. I was calling all over. I was gonna call up 24 hours and 911 say you was missing or something like that. And you don't want to be. But what I'm trying to say is, you want to be able to be somewhere, be in a spot to where you can take care of your business, where you ain't got to rely upon any. Not saying you don't care. Not saying you're not gonna connect with your family member, but you get what I'm saying. I'm basically just saying that this is not negative. This is just saying you don't want to have to. You don't want to have to rely upon family members for anything. You don't want to do that. You see what I'm saying? Because and I'm saying that it's not me being negative. It's just saying we all have to learn how to do things for ourselves. Hold on. Yeah, we all have to learn how to do things for ourselves. Yeah. So, you don't want to be like me. You don't want to end up being in the situation that I'm in. Being in the Christian church, thinking that you're going to get this and that and the third. You trying to rely upon church people, so such and such, this and that and the third. No, it's not going to happen like that. Because the Christian church do not give a damn about no one. And I can only tell you that from experience, for the most part. You see what I'm saying? Now, this is not me being criticizing or nothing. I'm just giving you the real. Hold on. I hate these bugs that come up in here. Let me shut the door, man. Cause they not the only reason why I be coming up in here, because they had that music in there. And Facebook, they won't allow you to. They'll be muting your video talking about damn music and shit. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be bothered with the damn bugs and stuff. And that's the only reason why I had to come back in, because it just ain't letting me do nothing.